Yeah, let me know. When do you think you'll get some free time?
Maybe Wednesday afternoon this
Okay.
week, but then probably not till next week because I'm out of town starting Thursday.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to be at a conference starting Tuesday night in Austin.
Yeah, well, let's catch up next week then.
Yeah, I'm up for that, man. Let me know. Let me know what your schedule looks like.
All right, sounds good.
Alrighty, brother. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye. All right, so back again for another episode of What's Your Mental Battle? All right, come on, Indy. What's your mental battle? So, as many of you know, last week I posed a question on Instagram to the following. I asked, what's your mental battle on a daily, weekly, and a monthly basis? And again, got some really good responses. Some of those responses came on Instagram, some of them came on Facebook. Nonetheless, I want to thank everyone for responding again. And I wanted to go through another series of questions that we got. So one of the responses received was, am I going to make a big difference when it's all said and done? And I think that's really up to you. That question is actually coming from Jake, good friend Jake. You could follow him at The Smarter Hustler. But Jake, I think me and you, we've probably had many talks about, what does living day to day with a purpose mean to us, and I think you know the answer to that question better than anyone. I think if we all believe in what we're doing and what we're representing, and whether we work for someone or we work for ourselves, I think that if we all believe in the purpose that we're serving, doing that job, serving that market, in the end, yeah, I do believe it's going to make a difference, right? Because there's a legacy that you want to leave behind. You want people to remember you for a certain thing, right? I mean, nobody wants to die, at least I don't, not being remembered for something. And I think it's important that when you live with a purpose and you live purposely, it truly is going to make a difference when all is said and done. And I think if you ask your clients, I know you have clients on your end. If you ask your clients, does what I do for you make a difference? And I think they'll respond to you that it does. Another question that we got on there, this one's on Instagram as well, is have too many ideas to actually set a realistic game plan. This one's coming from my good friend Marcelo. You could follow him at Quesadillas. So I think having ideas is important, right? We all have things, I think as entrepreneurs, we all have things that come into our mind at all times of day. I know I barely sleep because my mind is constantly going 300 miles per hour. And when you have that happening, or when you're living this life that you're constantly being fed ideas, or you're constantly thinking of ideas of what type of ventures you want to do, or what type of market you want to break into, it's important. I usually carry a notebook. I don't have it on my person right now, but it's actually sitting right up on that shelf. But I actually have a notebook that I'll carry in my laptop bag. And that notebook serves as, if an idea comes to mind that I want to ultimately explore what that idea means, whether it's a venture, whether it's starting a project, or whether it's just an idea that I just have to look at and through the microscope. I write these ideas down as they come. And then again, I'll revisit them in my free time. So at the end of the day, I'll open that book up and I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, is this an idea that will really serve its purpose in serving a market, or serving a certain segment of what I'm doing, or was it just an idea that kind of wasted my time? So I think it's important that you take a step back and you analyze these ideas that come to you, and you begin to kind of question, does it make sense to pursue, or does it not? And I think the more that you write those down, Marcelo, I think the clearer the picture is going to become whether you should pursue or not pursue. I hope that answers your question. I know many ideas are usually when we're served with ideas, it's hard to kind of take a step back and say, okay, how am I going to pursue all of these? But at the end of the day, it's probably likely that you're not going to pursue all of them, and it's probably very likely that you're going to feel strongly about some after analyzing, and you're not going to feel strongly about some analyzing them. So it's important to take that step back and analyze those ideas. Another response that I got was, what's the next step personally and professionally? This one's coming from someone who's anonymous, did not want to be named. Nonetheless, I think it's important to take a step back again and analyze your personal goals and your professional goals, and determine where you want to take them and where you don't want to take them. If that question was for me, I don't put a ceiling into what I'm doing, or I don't put a deadline into what I'm doing. So the idea of creating, for me, is something that I aspire on a daily basis, and I hope that it never ends. That's on a personal level. I follow passion projects a lot, and that's what I like to do personally. Professionally, growing the client book is a big step for me. I think changing the dynamic of what production means in San Antonio is a big step for me, that I aspire for myself, and not only myself but other creators here in San Antonio, is that that we continue to raise the bar of creation or creative direction in San Antonio. I think we should be beyond where we are, and I think that's slowly coming into fruition. Hope that answered your question. If not, shoot me another DM and I'll tackle it in the next video. This one actually came from Facebook. This response was from my friend Rihanna, and she asked, the mental battle that she's dealing with is, she says, I love being a mom, but besides my children, I have nothing to show for my 30 years. Sometimes I get overwhelmed with the thought of my workload for the day on top of being a mom. And honestly, I admire moms and dads out there that, they continue to do on top of raising their kids, because we all know that it's not easy raising kids in today's day and age. In an age of technology, your kids want your cell phone, your kids want to do all of these things, and I feel like you could very easily feel like you're being pulled in 30 different directions at once. I couldn't imagine having more than one kid and doing that. But nonetheless, you do have a lot to show for 30 years. And being a mom, I think, alone tells others that you are capable of doing much more than they could ever do. Again, I feel that way. I'm not ready to be a dad. I'm not ready to be a parent at this moment, but it's important to give yourself a little more credit. Being a mom, being a parent in today's day and age is not the easiest. So every mom and dad out there that continues to raise their kids and continues to devote time to what they're passionate about and what makes them happy, I 100% admire you. Rihanna, just to answer your question, I think it's important that you take a moment out of your day. And I know it could feel like, oh, well, I have no time, but at some point of the day, I know that you have 5 minutes to really turn the phone off or step away from the TV or whatever you want, whatever takes your attention, and analyze what you actually want out of life. Top of raising kids, we all want to have healthy, strong kids that are smart kids growing up, that go to a college that we want them to, or aspire to be something, whatever they want to become. But I think it's important to be a little selfish, at least in some part of your day, maybe taking 10 minutes out of your day to think about what you want and think about what serves your interest. It's not bad to be a little selfish at times. I think it's important if you're trying to set goals for yourself, if if you're trying to aspire to do things, to create things, or to change things, it's important to take that step and you know, be a little selfish. And that's totally okay. Again, if I could help you in any way, go ahead and shoot me a DM. I'm happy to kind of go through that creative or that process with you. I know I had another question that came in on Instagram. It actually wasn't a real question. This one's from my good friend Arturo. He says live a quarter mile at a time. Nonetheless, I love you, man. But stupid response. Just kidding. That concludes the series of questions or the responses that we had for our Instagram prompt. I hope you guys enjoyed the answering and the following, and I hope to open the prompt again this week and maybe get some more feedback from you guys. Again, this is a project that I've decided to pursue. It's been in the works for a couple of months now, but I just recently took the initiative to, hey, let's start recording these videos, let's start asking these prompts, and let's start making this something real. Nonetheless, thanks again to those who participated. I look forward to more participants in the near future as we continue to make these videos. And I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks again.